California's big power company, PG&E, is paying victims more than $13 billion for deadly California wildfires sparked by its faulty power lines. Now, as in other parts of the U.S., the shape of where California residents are able to rebuild and live is changing based on the risks they could suffer a repeat disaster. Lisa Fletcher has the story.
The Tubbs fire tore through Santa Rosa, California in October of 2017, killing 22 people and torching more than 3,000 homes. By some estimates, Santa Rosa's economic loss was more than $1 billion. Today, almost 2.5 years later, many are still waiting to rebuild their homes.
Well, there's not enough capacity of the building industry to build that quickly.
Santa Rosa Mayor Tom Schwedhelm has lived in the area 40 years. We met with him in the dark during a blackout designed to keep power equipment from sparking new fires. He says insurance at the time of the Tubbs fire only covered 2 years of living expenses, and for some families, that time has run out.
So now we have folks who their house is being rebuilt, but they're out of their 2-year ALE, so they're paying a rent to live somewhere, and they're paying the mortgage for their house. So Santa Rosa's left out in the cold there.
According to a 2019 analysis, California has nearly 650,000 homes at high to extreme risk from wildfire. And a crisis has emerged along the sidelines. Insurance companies can't shoulder the cost to rebuild in the highest risk zones.
We are steadily moving towards a future where people more broadly won't be able to find insurance.
Dave Jones was California's insurance commissioner for 8 years.
There's no question that as the severity and frequency of wildfires has increased in California, insurers are responding in 2 ways. One is they're raising prices, and the other is they're declining to renew insurance or write new insurance in high-risk wildfire areas.
According to the current insurance commissioner, over the last 4 years, about 350,000 Californians have lost their fire insurance. Many have been forced into California's FAIR plan, which provides insurance only as a last resort.
Is this a crisis?
I think for the people that can't find insurance and that are being forced to the FAIR plan, and remember, the FAIR plan is not subsidized. The price reflects the actual risk, so it's expensive. For those people, it is a crisis.
For some, the crisis is finding coverage they can afford.
Do you foresee a time, if things don't change, where large swaths of California will be uninhabitable by virtue of the fact that people just can't afford the insurance for those areas?
Well, they'll continue to be inhabited, but people won't have insurance. It will make these areas less and less affordable, make it more difficult for lower-income Californians to stay in or to purchase in these areas.
Higher premium prices could reveal a silver lining that moves people out of high-risk areas. It's just what has happened over years in flood zones. Reforms are being called for there because for years, taxpayer dollars went to rebuilding homes that were sometimes destroyed every time a hurricane or flood hit.
You have this circumstance where we end up people rebuilding over and over and over again in areas that we know are going to flood over and over and over again.
Back in California, you can see the charred earth just steps away from this upper-class neighborhood outside Los Angeles. A reminder that communities are under a near constant threat.
Unless we address underlying drivers more aggressively, insurance is going to continue to be the canary in the coal mine, so to speak, sending out the warning that the risk is too high, the risk is too high, and we'll see less and less insurance available in these areas.
For Full Measure, I'm Lisa Fletcher in Sacramento.
California's legislature was working on an insurance plan to balance cost versus risk until coronavirus arrived and sent lawmakers home.